Take a slow breath and let this land gently. Because if the thought of marrying someone younger keeps circling back in your heart, it's not just a random idea, it's a spiritual question. And sometimes the questions that won't leave you alone are the ones heaven is trying to answer before you make a decision out of fear. So settle your mind for a moment. You don't have to defend yourself to anyone right now. You don't have to explain the age gap. You just have to listen for what brings peace. And if you want more messages like this that strengthen your discernment about love and marriage, subscribe now so you stay connected when your next confirmation comes. Angels say the spiritual meaning of marrying someone younger is not about breaking tradition. It's about revealing intention. People see the number and assume the story is already written. Heaven sees the assignment and watches the fruit. People ask, how will it look? Heaven asks, will it last? People measure years. God measures character. And when God joins two hearts, He is not only thinking about romance, He is thinking about healing, stability, legacy, purpose, and the kind of home your future will grow inside. But hear this clearly from the beginning. Spiritual meaning never cancels wisdom. A divine connection will never require you to ignore red flags. It will never demand secrecy as the foundation. It will never reward manipulation. It will never ask you to lose your dignity just to keep someone. God's peace doesn't hide inside confusion. So this is not a message that tells you any younger person is meant for you. This is a message that helps you understand what God may be doing when the person aligned with your life doesn't match people's expectations. Yet the connection produces peace, respect, and steady fruit. Angels say one of the deepest spiritual meanings is restoration. Some of you became strong before you became safe. You learned responsibility early. You learned to carry yourself when nobody else carried you. And you did it so well that people started calling you strong, but inside you were tired. Not always tired in your body, tired in your heart. Tired of love feeling complicated. Tired of mixed signals. Tired of inconsistency. Tired of being the one who gives the most and receives the least. So when God begins restoring you, He doesn't only heal your memories, He heals your expectations. He retrains your nervous system to recognize that peace is not a trick. Because when you've lived through chaos, calm can feel unfamiliar. When you've lived through disappointment, consistency can feel suspicious. And when you've had to chase love, safe love can feel too easy to trust. That's why, for some of you, marrying someone younger carries this spiritual meaning. God is bringing a freshness that softens what life hardened. Not childishness, freshness, not recklessness. Hope, not games. Warmth, a younger partner, when truly God-led, can bring lightness to places in you that became heavy. You laugh again. You breathe again. You stop feeling like love is something you must survive. And the sign that it's God is not just butterflies. The sign is that your dignity grows. Your peace grows. Your mind calms down instead of speeding up. Your faith feels protected instead of attacked. Another spiritual meaning angels reveal is pattern breaking. Many people repeat relationship cycles without realizing it. They choose what feels familiar, not what is healthy. Familiar might be inconsistency. Familiar might be chasing. Familiar might be overgiving. Familiar might be staying too long, hoping someone changes. Familiar might be accepting crumbs because you learn to call crumbs patience. Angels say God breaks patterns with people who don't carry the old blueprint. Sometimes that person is younger because they're not as attached to pride, ego, and stubborn habits that refuse to grow. Not every older person is prideful. Not every younger person is mature. But heaven is not choosing by stereotype. Heaven is choosing by fruit. Teachability is a spiritual treasure in marriage. A teachable heart can build a peaceful home faster than a prideful heart that has experience but refuses accountability. So the spiritual meaning may be this: God is ending your season of emotional labor. God is removing you from relationships where you had to beg for basics. God is aligning you with someone who can learn, grow, adjust, apologize, and communicate without turning it into war. And you will know it by the patterns. The person doesn't punish your boundaries. They respect them. They don't disappear. When conversations get serious, they lean in. They don't use silence as control. They use communication as care. They don't pressure you to move faster than peace. They honor your pace because they honor your value. That is not small. That is spiritual maturity in action. Another spiritual meaning is divine timing. Some of you felt late. You looked at your life and thought, this should have happened already. And that pressure can tempt people to settle. It can tempt you to choose whoever fits the timeline instead of whoever fits the assignment. Angels say your delay was not denial. For many of you, it was protection. Protection from choosing too early. Protection from marrying while you were still healing. Protection from bonding with someone who would have drained you. Now your standards are stronger. Your discernment is sharper. You're not impressed by attention anymore. You're impressed by intention. You're not impressed by intense words. You're impressed by consistent actions. So God may align you with someone younger because their readiness matches your current season. Readiness is not a number. Readiness is a character. Readiness is discipline. Readiness is integrity. Readiness is humility. And when two people are ready in the same season, the relationship doesn't need pressure to move forward. It grows naturally into clarity. Another spiritual meaning is balance of strengths for legacy. Marriage is not only about love, feelings. Marriage is partnership, building, agreement, daily choices that protect peace. And heaven often blends strengths in a way that creates stability. You may bring wisdom, depth, discernment, patience, and the ability to see what matters. You may have learned the cost of ignoring red flags, so you don't romanticize chaos. You protect peace because you know what it cost you to find it. And if your partner is younger and assigned by God, they may bring energy, adaptability, forward momentum, and a willingness to build with joy. Not because youth is magic, but because God can use differences to form strength. The older one's wisdom becomes covering. The younger one's energy becomes fuel. But the key is humility in both. Because age gaps don't destroy marriages. Ego destroys marriages. Pride destroys marriages. Refusing to grow destroys marriages. Lack of boundaries destroys marriages. So heaven teaches both of you how to honor each other without power struggles. This is where angels speak a gentle warning too. The spiritual meaning only becomes beautiful when the relationship stays honorable. If age becomes a tool for control, the covenant suffers. If youth becomes an excuse for irresponsibility, the covenant suffers. So the spiritual invitation is mutual maturity. The older one must not turn wisdom into control. The younger one must not turn freedom into carelessness. Both must choose honor. Now, angels say there's another layer. Marrying someone younger can be spiritual training in trusting God's voice over public noise. Some of you have made socially safe choices before, and those choices still hurt you privately. You picked what looked right, and it cost you peace. You stayed where people applauded your loyalty, and it drained you. So heaven is changing your measure. Now you measure by fruit. Now you measure by peace. Now you measure by whether the relationship draws you closer to God or pulls you into compromise. People will always have opinions, but the crowd won't live in your home. The crowd won't protect your peace at night. The crowd won't fight for your marriage when life becomes real. So angels say, stop negotiating your destiny with people who are not assigned to carry it. And because you still need wisdom, angels give you practical, spiritual tests. What God ordains can handle time. Time reveals intentions. Time exposes charm that isn't supported by character. What God ordains can handle boundaries. Boundaries reveal whether someone honors you or only wants access to you. What God ordains can handle clarity. Truth is never offended by real questions. Only deception gets irritated by clarity. So if you are discerning a younger partner, don't be afraid to talk about real life. Talk about values. Talk about faith. Talk about marriage expectations. Talk about finances and responsibility. Talk about family boundaries. Talk about conflict and repair. Watch how they respond. A person aligned for covenant will not run from structure. They'll respect it because they are not here for a moment. They are here to build. Angels say one simple test reveals a lot. Say not yet to something and watch the response. Anyone can enjoy your yes, but your not yet exposes character. If they become manipulative, impatient, punishing, or inconsistent, pay attention. If they remain respectful, steady, and intentional, that is fruit. That is evidence. And if your mind is still racing, here is what angels want you to remember. Discernment is calm. Fear is loud. Fear says, reject before you get hurt. Discernment says, move slowly and observe fruit. Fear says, unusual means wrong. Discernment says, God often works in unusual ways to break old cycles. Fear says, what will people think? Discernment says, what does this produce? So the spiritual meaning of marrying someone younger is not one simple sentence, but it often includes these truths. God may be restoring your joy, breaking your cycle, aligning timing, blending strengths for legacy, teaching you honor and freeing you from the addiction to approval. But the final confirmation will always be fruit, peace that remains, respect that stays consistent, clarity that increases over time, responsibility that shows up in real life, humility that can apologize and grow. And now let this land in your spirit. You are not called to marry a number. You are called to marry a person with covenant character. You are not called to explain your peace to everyone. You are called to protect it. You are not called to settle because it looks acceptable. You are called to choose what is healthy, honorable, and God-led. So here is a prayer you can carry quietly whenever your heart needs direction. God, if this connection is from you, Let peace remain and fruit increase. Let clarity grow. Let respect stay steady. Let intentions be honorable. If it is not from you, remove it gently but clearly, and protect me from fear-based decisions. Then let time speak. Let patterns speak. Let fruit speak. May God remove every counterfeit connection that drains your spirit and confuses your mind. May God sharpen your discernment without hardening your heart. May your boundaries stay strong and your peace stay protected. May your future spouse, younger or not, carry humility, integrity, responsibility, and consistent honor. May your love be clean, your home be safe, and your story be a testimony that silences opinions with fruit. If this message brought you peace, stay connected. Subscribe for more prophetic motivation about love, marriage, and your future, and share this with someone who needs clarity without judgment.